While working on a ladder in the back of a truck, stability is non-existent. As this worker pulls on a cable, the ladder shifts and collapses into the truck bed. He falls headfirst, suffering a high-impact collision with the ladder and the side of the truck. Elevators must be equipped with sensors to prevent the car from moving while the doors are open. Here, the safety system fails. As the man attempts to exit, the elevator suddenly pulls upward. This type of mechanical malfunction is one of the most hazardous scenarios possible. Standing too close to high-velocity equipment is extremely dangerous. As the loader discharges soil, a large rock is ejected at high speed, striking the worker directly in the head. He is instantly knocked to the ground by the force of the impact. This incident on a ski lift underscores the danger of improper seating. A child began to slide out of the chair, but quick-thinking bystanders managed to catch and hold them. Despite their efforts, the child eventually slipped and fell, hitting the ground with significant force. Fire performances carry extreme risk. During this routine, the performer accidentally ignites their own clothing. Within seconds, the fire spreads across their torso. Bystanders quickly intervene with extinguishers to suppress the flames and prevent life-threatening burns. This operator was already stuck, and moving the excavator's arm made it much worse. Shifting the heavy bucket to the left completely ruined the machine's balance. The weight distribution changed instantly, and the excavator crashed onto its side. A person tries to step into an elevator, but the machine malfunctions before he is fully inside. The elevator suddenly starts going up while the doors were still open. Never put your hands near the moving loop of a strapping machine. This worker gets his hand caught by the tight plastic strap. The machine pulls hard, trapping his hand and then his head. His colleague jumps in to rescue him, and he suffered no injuries. Working in a raised vehicle is always a massive risk. The lift fails, and the car drops instantly. Fortunately, the angle of the fall creates a small safety pocket that saves the mechanic's life. The handbrake on this parked cement truck fails. With nothing holding it back, gravity pulls the heavy machine down the steep street. It rolls fast and crashes straight into a nearby house. This overhead crane's lifting rope snaps under a heavy weight. Metal parts from the hoist drop instantly and hit the worker. Fortunately, his safety helmet absorbs the blow, allowing him to walk away from a serious strike. Always double-check your clamps before starting a lift. The worker puts a piece in the machine, but doesn't secure it properly. When the machine hits high speed, the loose piece flies straight into the air. A rolling machine in a steel factory completely loses control. The red-hot steel wire shoots out of its track and starts flying everywhere. It whips around the factory floor at high speed, turning into a glowing hazard. Fortunately, there were no injuries. This is exactly why you must secure a vehicle before lifting it on a hill. The excavator pulls the machine up, but once the tires hit the ground, it rolls downhill fast and completely out of control. Always look before you step. The ground crew moves the stairs without warning, and the worker at the door steps out blindly, expecting a solid platform. These workers are using a pallet stacker to lift a big, heavy object that has passed the machine's weight limit. Because it is overloaded, the stacker loses balance, and the load starts to tilt and fall toward the wall. In a small factory area, a team prepares to unload a heavy CNC machine from a truck. The folding boom crane initially appears stable, and its outriggers are placed on what seems to be solid concrete ground. However, the surface is not as reliable as it looks. There are old slabs with voids underneath. While the operator steps back to check alignment, he fails to notice that tons of weight are pressing on a weak point. Suddenly, the concrete breaks. One of the outriggers sinks into the ground. The boom loses balance and the crane quickly begins to tip sideways. The truck shakes. The load moves uncontrollably, and the team reacts immediately to manage the situation. Ground stability should not be judged by appearance alone. Surfaces must be tested in advance. During heavy lifting operations, outriggers must be placed on solid and durable ground. This is the moment when a swing called the tsunami ride snaps midair while in operation at a fair in India. Working under an unsupported truck bed is a massive mistake. The hydraulic lift snaps, and the heavy bed starts coming down. He was extremely lucky the collapse was slow, allowing him to jump out just in time. Before fixing or cleaning any machine, the power must be completely shut off. If the machine turns on by mistake while you are inside, you risk to get hurt. Always lock the power switch first so no one can start it. The guy starts to climb down from the top of the truck, but without a proper ladder, he misses his footing, loses his balance, and falls. These mobile cranes lift the heavy trailer to pull it back onto the road, but once the trailer's in the air, it starts to swing like a giant pendulum. This swinging pulls too hard on one of the cranes and is dragged right off the edge, crashing down into the gap along with the trailer. When working on a scaffold, you must keep your weight centered. This worker leans way too far over the side while fixing the truck's tarp. His center of gravity shifts past his feet and takes a fall to the ground. Breaching the excavator's turning circle is a fundamental safety violation. The bucket carries massive force during a swing, and operators frequently contend with significant visual obstructions. Staying completely clear of this area is the only way to remain safe. These guys tried to lift a massive tanker truck, but it was just too heavy. When the front crane pulls its share, the extreme weight overpowers it. It flies up into the air and crashes back down hard. The footage shows a motorcyclist leaving their vehicle at the roadside and walking away. Meanwhile, a heavily loaded truck traveling on the road is forced to brake suddenly due to an unexpected situation. Because of the weight and movement of the soil being transported, the vehicle loses balance. The trailer swings to the side, causing a loss of control. The truck then overturns onto the roadside, falling onto the parked motorcycle and causing serious damage. Safe distance and proper placement must be considered when parking vehicles on the roadside. Overloading significantly affects vehicle stability. Sudden braking can lead to loss of control in heavily loaded vehicles. Inside a partially completed structure, concrete walls stand prominently under work lights. A worker wearing a blue shirt and helmet stands in liquid mortar reaching up to his ankles, attempting to remove a formwork panel using a pry bar. He tries to loosen the edge of the panel. The environment is quiet, but the internal pressure buildup goes unnoticed. With one final push, the panel comes loose and falls. At that moment, the trapped mortar inside is suddenly released and rapidly spreads across the ground. Within seconds, the flowing material covers the area, halting the work and creating an uncontrolled situation. Internal pressure must always be checked before removing formwork and panels. Materials under pressure can suddenly release and create hazards. Planning and risk assessment must be conducted before intervention.